Hey, what's up, guys? It's Powerbang, and I am going to kick off a new series now with this video, and it's going to be dedicated to helping you guys develop a war-based defense that basically limits your opponents to 2 or less stars. Your job as a Town Hall 9 and below is basically to prevent a 3-star attack from an opponent. And there are some in the lower levels of competition in clan wars. Preventing a 2-star is often seen as desirable as a Town Hall 9. But when you start getting into really good competition and facing really good players, 2-star is nearly automatic. Anybody can 2-star a Town Hall 9. But the 3-star is where the game is headed, and preventing those 3-star attacks is really what we're trying to do. So what I want to do to kick off this opening video of this new series is basically look at the very, very basics of what you want to do as far as setting up your defense and your base. If you remember back to our 1, 2, 3 opener video, as far as like the steps that you're going to do to open any successful raid as a Town Hall 9 or even a Town Hall 8 player, it's the same every raid. And those steps are to lure and kill the clan castle, and then kill the archer queen, and then in the process, hopefully, accomplish a secondary objective, which would be, if you're attacking with hogs, for example, you would want to trigger double giant bombs. Those are your primary threat to a Hog Rider raid. So, sniffing out the double giant bomb locations and getting some troops in to either destroy the adjacent defense buildings and eliminate the pathing around those bombs, or to trip the bombs themselves, which is usually the more ideal solution because they're no longer a threat to your hogs during the raid. Another secondary objective would be if you're attacking with, say, a Lavalunian army. Destroying an air defense up front is a very, very economical way to save your air army and focus them on 3 air defenses rather than 4. And it also allows you to make the pathing around the base much more predictable, as you can target those balloons in a counterclockwise or clockwise fashion as the lava hounds move around the base. So those are your objectives as you approach a base on offense when you're attacking that base. So defensively, if you know that those are the key steps to getting a 3-star on a base, defensively it would make sense to try to counter those particular activities as best as you possibly can. So if you look at it, the very first step is making your clan castle very difficult to lure. Now I'm going to step into a layout here. What you want to do, because your base is not really trying to prevent a 2-star, the town hall being in the dead center of the base, that isn't necessarily the most imperative thing that you could have happen. A lot of people, you'll notice, their town hall will be in the center of their base, and they'll build out from around the town hall. I would recommend placing your clan castle in the center of the base. You'll notice this little, place the point here and then drag it down one. That would be the center of your base. Now, the reason I say this is, you place your clan castle down, and then you can use your town hall, say, next to it or in another compartment. It doesn't really matter. But what you want to do is place defenses. If you check the clan castle radius, place defenses that are at the outer reaches of that clan castle radius. And what that does is when they send in troops to lure, if they're not defense-seeking troops, they're not going to make it inside your walls anyways to achieve the lure. If they are defense-seeking troops, such as a hog or a balloon, when you drop them, they're going to approach this, cannon here, and they're going to stand on the outside of it. They're going to actually have to destroy that building before they continue. Now, taking that even a step further, if you were to, let's grab an archer tower here. If you were to couple it with a a setup like this on the outside, say maybe a spring trap between the two buildings, and then put some walls around something like this. What that does is, man, I'm terrible with my editor here. What that does is now if you click the radius, there's no way, if you're going to send in a hog rider or a balloon, if you're going to hit from this side of the base, you have to take out the archer tower, and then where's the next place they're going to go? They're going to go to this cannon. The whole time they're outside of that radius, and what that does for you is it forces the enemy to use much more army camp space than they would really prefer to get this lure done. And as we know, the most important part of a raid is to lure and kill successfully this clan castle troops. This placement of your defenses on the outside ring of the clan castle is super important. So that is my first tip for when you design your base. Get those cannons. It's a great starter point. Those are one of the least effective defensive buildings you have because they focus only on ground troops and not air. So your cannons are the ones you're going to want to give up first and offer those up on the outer ring of your base. So start your clan castle in the middle. Don't worry as much about your town hall being in the direct center, and then set up your cannons in a ring around the outside before you really start forming the rest of your base. So let's step out. Let's step into another base. The next step. We talked about the second step of any successful raid being killing the archer queen. Now, let's jump into a war base that I am not using. Here we go. And we're going to examine both the clan castle pole radius. So if we click this, now this base is fully set up, and guys, don't copy the base, because the second you copy the base, it's all over the internet. People are going to know exactly where the traps are. It's very crackable, and you'll get 3-starred. So come up with your own bases. It's very important that you be original and don't just get online and copy something, because that's a way, for people, idiots like me with too much time on my hands, that surf around YouTube and Google and whatnot and learn all they can about this game. We know what popular designs there are in existence, and we know exactly how to 3-star them because there's videos all over the place. So it's just really easy to do a search. And so we look here at the radius. This is a finished base. You'll notice that around the outside ring of the clan castle radius, there's a defense on every side. So when somebody tries to do a lure, no matter where they do the lure from, they're going to run into, say here, they're going to run into this building here before they get the lure done. So what that means is they basically have to send several troops, several hog riders, several balloons, etc., into a point to kind of collapse in a side a little bit in order to make those troops come out. So that's the first thing I want to look at. Remember, step 2 is the archer queen. You need to get that archer queen killed. This base, you'll notice the archer queen is buried deep in the core, and that is what you want to do. You want to protect your archer queen by insulating her inside the base. I have her in the core here. Now I'm going to show you guys where this base is vulnerable and kind of do an assessment. But I've done what I could. I thought at the time when I designed it to protect my archer queen by putting her behind several layers of walls and have Teslas around that location. So when somebody comes in with a small kill squad, these Teslas pop up. And then also I've got a skeleton trap here to help protect her with distractions, and then also the barbarian king in front. So I'm doing the best I can to protect my queen so she is able to hop in and try to stay alive as long as possible to basically ruin someone's day. So hopping back in here, where this base is weak, if you'll look at the left side of the base, this wizard tower, archer tower, a jump spell right here. will allow a golem to hop into this compartment, and then once those 2 defenses are dead, first thing, you're going to create your funnel here with wizards, and then heroes and a small kill squad can go straight in, and as they jump over into this compartment, you've now allowed an air defense to be taken out, and your queen, as those troops come in, will jump over the wall. So those are types of things that you'll need to look for when you're designing a base. Maybe the fix here is just bumping out this wall, finding pieces of wall from somewhere else in the base, and maybe all you do is take this little wall segment here, and instead of having it go in, maybe you have it go out like this. That way one jump spell can't cover the whole area. And what that does is it forces you to use camp space to bring wall breakers, and with wall breakers you're not always guaranteed to get through, because you've got a wizard tower right here for splash damage, and maybe they don't get through that and the raid's kind of hosed from the start. So that's step 2 is protecting your archer queen. Find ways to protect her at all costs. Now, last step of your opener is your secondary objectives. Now that's your air defenses, your giant bombs. Those are the things that you're going to want to be looking to protect as a very high priority. This base in particular has the air defenses a little bit further out than I normally put them. I'll highlight them here for you. They're more towards the edge, but a few of them have Teslas that are guarding them and or unexpected defenses if somebody was to try to hog in and get them. The idea here is to basically have good coverage and not have them all in the core of the base, so that you can get hollow weed, like basically have loons come in and take out these outer defenses with no defense from your air defense. But if you look at the double bombs, they're in the core, and they're not really accessible. Like, you can't just send one hog in and trip them. Let me show you an example of what not to do. Let's go look at my farming base. Now, if you were to use a base like this for war, I would not recommend it. I'll pull it open here, and what I want you to pay attention to is our lure. It isn't bad, but you can get the lure on the air defenses on the side. But I only want to pay attention to the giant bomb locations on this particular base, which are here and here. Now, if for some reason somebody was to use something like this as a war base, which is a terrible idea, but if, for example, this were to happen, you don't want your giant bombs in the outer ring of your base, because all it takes, literally, is one hog, right here, and he just runs in, targets the cannon, and one of those bombs blows up. In a double giant bomb set, all you need is to trip one of those bombs, because a heal spell placed over the top of a giant bomb location that's by itself, a single giant bomb, the heal spell can heal up your hogs, and it's like they never got hit with anything. It does not make a difference. You can live through it, finish your raid with no problem. So, one hog in, there, one hog in on the other side, you trip those outside bombs. The inside ones maybe still are up, but that's okay. That you're good to go at that point. So that's an example of a double giant bomb set that you don't want. Now, let's look at some that are very advantageous. Let's go to another war base that I am not using. And specifically looking at this base for its giant bomb potential. This is a very good base when it comes to protecting your giant bomb locations with pathing and making sure that they're not disrupted by a queen kill squad or let me show you what I mean. So step 2 for an attack would be to attack and kill the archer queen. So that's likely going to happen from this side somewhere over here. As you can see, the archer queen is in the core. As troops approach from this direction, she will hop over this wall and they will come up and kill her. Because of that, I've identified that this side over here and this side over here, because those are the two likely sides that the queen would be attacked from, are not really appropriate for a double giant bomb set, because it's too easy as the golem and the barb king come in. It's too easy for them to trip those double giant bombs, and then basically the hogs that come in after that, they have absolutely nothing to worry about because the hazards are gone. They can freely attack the base and heal wherever they need the heals. So if you look at this base, there's a double giant bomb potential here. There's one here, one here, here, and here. So those are where your potential doubles are. There's also one over here. That one doesn't really make sense. There's several single spots around the base, but we're not really going to look at those. There's a few in the core, and then all around the base there's singles. But let's look at the doubles potential, and let's see how those are protected. So I'm going to leave those highlighted. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to a blue pin here, and that blue pin, let's say that it's going to be hog riders, because first of all let's look and see if there's a way to access these areas with balloons, and there's really not. As you press in to any one of these locations, there's an air defense that's insulated not only by high HP buildings like storages, but there's a lot of defenses, and you got to get through 3 to 4, sometimes even 5 defense buildings in order to get to that air defense. And what that's doing is it's causing the opponent to commit too many troops in order to take out that secondary objective. Too many troops are going in, and they're not going to have enough as part of their main army to take your base out. So balloons aren't really a viable option for taking out this hog threat with the bombs. So if we look at hog riders, sending in maybe a small group in advance, what you want to pay attention to is the pathing. You'll notice that in front of each set there are a defense or two, and the key part about that, so let's look at the top right. So say they deploy hogs somewhere up in this area, and the first defense that they target is this cannon. Well, after that cannon, you have to be able to look at the base and figure out what the pathing is going to be. Where's the next closest buildings? One is going to be this mortar here, another is going to be the cannon. So the hogs will path basically to each side of the double giant bomb sets. Now as those buildings go down, where are the next closest? For the top side, it's going to be the archer, and then the wizard, and then they may hop across here to this expo. And for the other side, it's the wizard tower, and then the air defense and the archer towers here. So what you've done is you basically have hogs that come in, they path around your giant bomb locations, and then as they get to the neighboring defenses, so the adjacent defenses that are next to your double giant bomb location, those hogs then path across it to the next defense, whichever side that they come from. Now that triggers both of them at the same time, and however many are in that pack are dead. So it's going to take a lot of defense buildings, as you can see from the pathing here, in order to get to this double giant bomb set. What you don't want is a situation where, say, this defense here is the closest building to this defense building, because what you don't want is to send in a very small group of hogs and have them path straight in and then trip one of these bombs right off the bat, with basically 3 or 4 hogs investment. You want them to have to spend 8 to 10 hogs and a heal spell probably in order to get in and take those out. So we look at the other spot real quick. If they come in here, they're gonna path there or there, and then out, and then the same thing over here. It's just, you're not going to get to this giant bomb set unless you were to hit with a wall of hogs and spend quite a few, and then take all of these buildings out at the same time. So that's how you protect your double giant bombs. And the reason I say to place them on the opposite side of the queen is almost always, a successful raider is going to infiltrate your base with the intention of taking out your queen. Now, if you had those bombs in this position, they're going to get tripped immediately, and then you only have one potential threat left in the base that can, damage the hog riders. So that is going to wrap up this opening video of the war-based defense series that I'm putting together. As we come back for future episodes, I'm going to touch specifically on different components of base defense, and that has everything to do with your success and limiting attacks to 2 stars instead of 3. We're going to talk more about your hero placement. We're going to talk more about your traps. We're going to talk more about symmetrical versus asymmetrical. We're going to talk about your air defenses in a little bit more detail, and even some upgrade order of your defense buildings and how you should prioritize upgrading your base. So hopefully this has been helpful. I think that designing a successful base for defending is one of the keys to war. Everybody's so focused on offense, but if everybody can come up with original bases that people know that they can't just copy off the internet, go find the blueprint for how to 3-star it. If you can limit your attacker to 2 stars, you guys are going to be in much better shape. So tune in next time. I'll bring you guys another video from this series, hopefully in a few days, and that will be it for this time. So thanks for tuning in. This is Powerbang. I'm signing out.